Okay. Okay, we will begin with non-agenda public testimony. I'll call you up. You'll have 1 minute per speaker. Citizen, Francine Maxwell, B. Silva, Dr. Mariah Bond, Amy Waterman, Priscilla Santiago, Adriana Jaime. Please come forward. Public education. If I've called your name, go ahead. You can start.
Hi, my name is Dr. Mariah Bond. I'm a physician, parent, and community member in the district, and I'm here to address healthy
Could you
high
speak
school.
right into the microphone, please?
I'm here to address healthy high school start times. For the last several years, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the AMA, and the CDC have recommended that all middle schools and high schools start after 8:30 a.m. Currently in our district, with only a very few exceptions, all of our high schools start by 7:30. The research and the data and the science shows this is detrimental to our teens. Their circadian rhythms shift in adolescence, and they physically can't fall asleep before 11 p.m. So waking them up at 5 or 6 a.m. is the same as waking an adult at 3 or 4 a.m. So we are subjecting nearly all of the teens in our city to chronic sleep deprivation, which puts them at risk for things like diabetes, weight gain, cardiovascular problems, reduced immunity, suicidal thoughts, substance abuse, risk-taking behavior, impeded judgment, increased motor vehicle accidents, and many more.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bond. I'll call some extra speakers. Go ahead, Francine.
I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
How much we got?
A minute.
1 minute?
Yeah.
Francine Maxwell, I want to bring to your attention that Race and Human Relations made it through 8 superintendents. Given the racial overtones in our country right now, it's deplorable the fact that she abolished it. Cindy Martin has not done anything to cut the bureaucracy at Central. She has she's moved all her pet projects to some of her favorite executive directors. So when she says that children are first, I'm concerned that children are first because we had over 30 parents here, and you guys, in your bylaws, you could have answered them last week, but you didn't. Cindy ran to the media so that she could have and control what the questions were asked by the reporters. That is not a leader. That is not a real superintendent for the 8th largest school district, the 7th in California. It's deplorable with the way that our world is right now that we will not have race and human relations so that they can begin to mediate and calm things. We're going to have more lawsuits. You guys know what's going on these campuses.
Thanks for that. Go ahead.
Hello. I just want to say that I'm grateful to be part of such a progressive and inclusive district.
give us
San
your
Diego
name,
Unified is a pioneer in protecting.
Could you give us your name, please?
Oh, sorry. My name is Adriana Jaime.
Okay, thanks.
San Diego Unified is a pioneer in protecting student and families' rights, from immigrant families to LGBTQ students. So when I received an offer from San Diego Unified, the decision of leaving my previous job and the families that I had built great relationships with was a very difficult one. I decided to join San Diego Unified School District because I felt this district could offer more opportunities of professional growth, and also the egalitarian pedagogy promoted at the district is in line with my beliefs, not only as a teacher, but also as a contributing member of this community. I don't regret my decision of leaving a secure position in favor of working for San Diego Unified, even though my position now as a special education teacher is in jeopardy. I have grown as an educator in the short time that I've been here, and I ask every one of you to consider the long-term impact of those proposed layoffs.
Okay,
They do
thank you. Thank you, Adriana. Yep. Okay, Keisha Borden, Adam Goldstein, Sarah Holerud, Patrick Shetler, Carol Kim.
Can we read the names again in case they're still outside?
Yeah, Adam Goldstein, Sarah Holerud, Patrick Shetler, and Carol Kim.
Thank you. Keisha Borden. Once again, we find ourselves at this intersection with the district proposing to make deep cuts and a drastic overhaul to the way in which it believes education should be provided to our students. Drastic changes that it claims are necessary to balance this budget. By excluding the voices of these valuable stakeholders, educators, and parents, you didn't speak to them. These are the people, educators, parents, and students are those people who are being drastically affected by these cuts, and you spoke to none of us. By excluding the voices of these stakeholders from the decision-making process, you only weaken your overall ability to provide the highest level of education to your students. By making decisions behind closed doors, you only set up the system to fail. We urge you to be wise in the decisions you make, that you take into consideration the fact that you do not have all the information about what will be in your final budget or the governor's budget, that numbers are subject to change as SDEA members begin to accept the SERP, which will allow you to have greater budget savings. Drastic changes and overinflated layoffs are not the solution to this long-term budget problem.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Holrud. Today I come to you disappointed as an educator and as a parent. I teach kindergarten at Baker Elementary, where we service students of poverty. As transparent as you are seeming to be with the budget, you are claiming to have a $124 million budget deficit, which history has proven year after year that the actual budget will look nothing like this worst case scenario projection. It is crucial for you to do everything in your power to keep these cuts away from students, but currently your reaction to this alleged deficit is accessing and cuts of departments which are causing widespread panic across the district. This is extremely irresponsible and will impact our students negatively. You are taking valuable resources away from schools like ELSTs, PE, OTs, prep time teachers, and many more. These are the exact things that our students need more of, not less of, especially in communities similar to the students I service. School sites are running on fumes. Our students in our schools should not suffer due to the district's mismanagement of tax dollars. Please do your part in passing a budget that keeps away from our students and instead cut from the central office.
Hi there, I'm Adam Goldstein, 4th grade teacher at Hage Elementary School. I don't have any prepared notes, so I'm just going to talk specifically about prep teachers and prep time, specifically PE at elementary school. We have a phenomenal PE program at Hage Elementary School. We have parents here, we have kids here. Mr. Kaneko, our PE teacher, has created a swim program. We have fitness, we have all these programs, and if you centralize those positions, you destroy that program and 124 programs like it. I can't be expected to teach PE the way that Mr. Kaneko can. So you need to think seriously about cutting prep. On the one hand, you're congratulating yourselves for staying class size 24-1, and then you're cutting all of the extra stuff that the kids really, really need and like. So you need to think twice before you make those kinds of cuts. We need art, drama, PE, art, all that good stuff. The stuff the kids need, and they're not going to get it if we don't give it to them, okay? So you need to keep those programs in the school just like you're keeping class size 24-1. It's just as important. Thank you.
Good evening, board members and district staff. My name is Carol Kim, and I'm the mother of 2 children, one in elementary school and one in middle school, both of whom have benefited from the strong programs that have been provided by the district. My children have had access to incredible learning opportunities because of these programs, and I still remember when my then kindergartner came running home, excitedly recounting to me that she had learned all about the circulatory system when her PE teacher, Keith Kaneko, had them run, skip, and jump through an activity course, pretending that they were red blood cells carrying oxygen and nutrients to organs. And the fact is that these educators, the ones that are currently possibly going to be laid off, the ones that our schools will possibly lose. They support and are able to enhance not only what our kids learn, but how they learn. And more importantly, these educators are crucial to making sure that every child does learn and has a chance to succeed. Their work ensures that children who are struggling with challenges can also be successful and that our families can as well.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
So I was having a conversation with Superintendent Martin when she first began, and she said to me, "I don't get rid of people." That's what she said. She said, "I don't get rid of people." So I've been watching her over the past 3 years, and she's been adding her friends, and she finds the money, and she's spending it here, and she's spending it there. And last year, when Governor Brown said, "Be frugal, don't expand," she continued to do it. I continued to see people, more and more positions for communications staff growing. The legal office spending more money than you can imagine. And now, with the mismanagement of money, people are losing their jobs. And it kicks you in the gut because you're scared that you're going to lose your home and can't pay your bills, and everything is scary. Been there. Understand what it feels like. Obviously, Cindy does get rid of people, and they're standing in this auditorium right now.
Okay, Violet Parmalee, Hilda Rodriguez-Babic, Jose Serna, Joanne Fields, Griselda Kent Durgam-Pudi, and Gary Edmonds.
Gary Edmonds, Garfield High School. Superintendent Martin, President Barrera, Board of Education, do you remember the celebration of light on December 14th? I was encouraged and proud of what you all said that evening. I spoke with some of you that day. When leadership displays magnanimity for the sake of righteousness, it's always a good thing. But here we are again, the eve of devastating layoffs and all the discouragement it creates. It's not right, it's not good. So I'm appealing to your hearts and respectfully requesting that each of you, Cindy Martin, Richard Barrera, Kevin Beiser, John Lee Evans, Michael McQuarrie, and Sharon Whitehurst Payne, look in the mirror and ask, could I have avoided this? Can I avoid this now? Is there a more humane approach that we can take to do what's best for the children and communities we serve and the people who directly serve them?
Thank you.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, colleagues, students, and guests. My name is Jose Serna, Network Systems Media Tech at Hoover High School, and last year's nominated Sites Classified Employee of the Year. When I started my job at Hoover, staff members had lost faith in technology and support. During the last budget crisis of 2012, Hoover's then Networks Media Tech was told he was losing his job. The I-21 classroom had just been formed, and ITSS management had alienated the network techs at school sites during planning and rollout. No communication, information, training, or planning was brought to the tech's attention. Feeling uncertain, frustrated, and appreciated, he made plans to leave our district. His position, which I now hold, was actually spared, but not his tireless devotion to this district. Today, we are in another budget crisis, and history is repeating itself. If there's one word that could sum up what we're all feeling, it's uncertainty. Not just by those affected by layoffs, by all. Staff members are constantly asking me, is it true that your department was cut? How would I get support? Are your jobs being outsourced? I am here today to ask the board for more proactive communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Hilda Rodriguez-Babic, and it's auspicious that I follow my colleague. I'm here to speak as a classroom teacher who is integrating technology every single minute of the day. I'm here to speak regarding the integrated class technology support cuts. I-21 is a flagship of our district. The entire country looks to us. When I speak to other teachers, I say, yes, even our students have computers. Even our classrooms have computers. I do not know what I'm going to do without the support that I've learned to count on. I do a lot for myself. I try, but I cannot think of what I'm going to do without it. My children, my students depend, rely, and love their technology. That is what's going to make their ability to catch up to the rest of the world. That is how they're going to do what they do best, what we know that they're entitled to. I need you to reconsider. I need you to understand that this is where we need to go, not more supervisors.
My name is Violet Parmalee, and I'm a student at Garfield High School. I'd like to remind everyone that parents have the right to opt their child out of state and district assessments, and I think all parents should opt their child out. Classroom teachers are the only people who should be creating and giving tests to their students. The SBAC or CASP tells my teachers nothing. People say you should take it as an 11th grader, but you will have a higher chance of getting low test scores and being placed in remedial classes for college. It's better to take the college placement exams at the college you plan to go to. People pretend that tests help improve our schools, and it absolutely does not. It limits what our teachers can focus on, and the scores are used to justify privatizing public education. Last year, at a different school, when my mom opted me out, the vice principal called my mom in front of me and yelled at her on the phone about the opt-out note. It was traumatizing to the point where I avoided going to the office. I asked that the superintendent and the school board guarantee no administrator will call a parent that has opted their child out to try and get their child to take the test. Respect a parent's opt-out.
Thank you.
I do have a question because I have two speaker slips submitted. Am I speaking on non-agenda item or for an agenda item against the budget?
You're supposed to only be speaking on non-agenda right now, Joanne, so if you want to speak to the budget, you should speak when that...
Okay, but because it sounds like they're speaking on budget, that's why I had to be crystal clear. Because I do want to speak on behalf of the matriarch of Ground Up Youth Foundation, who was also a teacher, district counselor, parent-pupil advocate, and race-human relations facilitator for San Diego Unified School District for 28 years. Following Jackie Polk's retirement, she became a counselor of Nubia Academy at Bayview Church. She also served as a parent trainer and facilitator for the Parent Institute for Quality Education, PIQUE, where she trained parents how to navigate the school system and effectively partner with teachers and school administrators to ensure their children's success. If she were alive and well, I know she would be here advocating for our children, youth, families, and staff. She also helped recruit a diverse cadre of parents to join the ranks of PIQUE as lead facilitators. One of her recruits was former San Diego Unified Board President Marnie Foster. She was a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, former president of AAAE. I wanted to honor her because she was a strong advocate for San Diego Unified.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Okay. Would like to call to order the meeting of February 28th, 2017, with every board member present. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance with the JROTC color guard from Morse High School.
Love, faith, carry, coos.
Ready, begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry codes or dead codes. Right face forward. Codes.
All right, thank you, Morse High School. JROTC. All right, if you wish to address the board on any of the agenda items before the board today and your name is not on the speaker list printed on blue paper located at both entrances to the auditorium, and if you've not already submitted a request for public testimony form, please complete the form and submit it to Cheryl Ward, our board action officer. Speakers on agenda items will be called on to speak during the discussion of the agenda item. Once discussion begins on an item, no additional public speaker requests will be accepted by the board. Public testimony speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker, and depending upon the total number of speaker requests received by the board on an item, the time may be reduced to 2 or 1 minute each. The time limit for speakers on today's agenda items will be announced at each item. Okay, we will now have our student presentation, and this is a program I'm very excited that we're going to get a chance to hear about tonight. This is from our Florence Griffith Joyner Elementary School, our Micro Society program, and I know how important this program has been to Joyner Elementary over the last several years, to our students, to our parents, to the teachers and community there at Joyner. So we'd like to invite Principal Rebecca Penn, Vice Principal Jose Valdez, and our Micro Society resource teacher, Carissa Boscos.
Ready? Come on. Come behind. Good evening, board members, board president, Board President Barrera and Superintendent Martin. I am Rebecca Penn, principal at Joyner Micro Society Magnet School. Thank you so much for inviting our students here today.
We are students from Florence Griffith Joyner Micro Society School, here to present to you how our program works for our society. Our Micro Society program has so many layers. It can only be truly captured by seeing it with your own eyes and being a part of the experience. We encourage you to visit us, but until then, please look through our eyes in this video presentation. I remember when I first started at Joyner. I was just learning about my community and jobs in the real world. I didn't think about being a government official or being a manager. I was nervous because I didn't know what to do, and I was also excited because I was going to learn new things. On my first day, I was really scared. My heart was beating really fast. I didn't know what to do, but my friends helped me.
I got motivated to be assistant manager because I had a great manager and I wanted to become exactly like him. I became nervous because I was taking on such a big role and I wanted students to think of me as a good manager. Working with my facilitator helps with the venture when we need to get something done. Working with my facilitator helps me learn more about micro because I'm new to that job and she's teaching me all the steps in every way possible. Before I became vice president, I worked at the legislative branch. I thought that maybe I guess I can run for vice president. And then when I finally won, I felt a little bit of regret because I didn't really know anybody and I wanted to make it work. I now feel confident because I know that I've done this job before and I can make a difference. I feel like I'm a part of something meaningful, something bigger. We are one. We are Joiner.
Our mission. We believe that children learn best by doing. Our mission is to create environments that motivate children to learn by engaging them in connections between the classroom and real world. What is a micro-society school? In our school, we have a mini-society that replicates the real world inside our school. We have hands-on learning, and we have real-world experiences. And most importantly, the students run the society. How does micro-society work at Joiner? The kindergartners have their own micro-society curriculum, and all other businesses have mixed grade levels 1st through 5th. And our micro-lab days are Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Thursdays are our reflection days, and we meet on those days 2:30 through 3:15 p.m. At Joiner, we have a government of the students, by the students, for the students. Citizens register to vote, and if they don't register, they don't vote, just like in the real world. Elections are held, students run for elected positions, and candidates campaign on campus, just like in the real world.
On election day, we vote in booths. We actually vote in booths and place ballots in ballot boxes, just like any adult would in voting day. Elected officials then take office. Citizens vote and elect a president, vice president, fire and safety marshal, chief of staff, secretary of treasury, and secretary of labor.
Judges, Speaker of the House, and pro tempore are appointed by the elected officials.
We also have a Management 101 course. Citizens take this course to prepare them for the management interview process. After that, facilitators interview and hire managers and assistant managers, just like they would in the real world. In addition, we have a job fair. All citizens new to Joiner must attend the job fair to sign up to be interviewed by managers and assistant managers.
After the job fair, managers and assistant managers set up interviews to hire new employees. Once all employees have a job, all citizens report to work on micro-lab days on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
At Joiner, we have a distribution center where businesses order supplies so they can create and provide quality products and services to Joiner citizens. Once businesses get their materials, production and services can begin.
Employees get several consumer break days to spend their hard-earned microbucks.
Now we are going to share the important principles that drive our micro-society program throughout the school day. We have 7 principles that help shape the program that we have at Joiner. They are at the heart of Joiner's micro-society.
Purpose. We learn best when we are engaged in purposeful work that is meaningful to us. At Joiner, we have reflection days where we can have meaningful conversations about our services and products and how they can impact the community we serve. This is where we problem solve as an entire unit to make our business run smoothly.
Growth. We will grow through challenging economic, social, and political experiences to find the balance between social injustice and personal growth. Students at Joyner often compare their experiences with microsociety to the real world. For an example, we have a government, a court, and safety system, and businesses that provide products and services to the community just like it is in the real world.
Mentorship. Mentors will create multiple opportunities for success in an integrated learning community. Management teams often meet with facilitators, sometimes before and after school. Twice a month on our half days, managers attend Management 102. It is a 2-hour course led by our microsociety research teacher to help guide us to manage and lead our businesses in the most professional way.
Innovation. The entrepreneurial spirit inspires ingenuity, innovation, and opportunity for our future success. For example, Joyner businesses may change their service or product year to year based on the conversations during Reflection Days and Management 102. Employees share ideas which may inspire others to be innovative or think outside the box.
Advocacy and leadership. We have a voice and choice as citizens and construct our own learning in order to have a positive impact on our community. The management team learns how to create agendas so that each microlab day is constructive and meaningful. We also have town hall meetings where government officials are present and ready to address the citizens' concerns.
Empowerment. We are empowered throughout the opportunities for leadership, decision-making, and responsibilities for every level of society. Citizens have the opportunity to lead, express valid concerns, and be advocates. Community and collaboration. It takes a village, parents, teachers, and community members to raise empowered leaders who make a positive difference. We invite community members to come and speak to our students, so they see the connections between our world and the real world. We also have Micronight, where parents come and see us in action. They are provided microbucks to spend so they can see firsthand how citizens of Joyner function in our microsociety. We hope you guys learn more about our microsociety program. And now we would like to introduce ourselves. I am Lynette Baez, the Vice President and Manager at the Department of Labor. I'm Raul Arellano, the Chief of Staff and Assistant Manager at the Executive Branch.
I am Elijah Toro, and I'm Assistant Judge and Assistant Manager at Micro Court.
I am Jerron Sloan, and I'm the Manager at Science Center.
I am Celeste Rodriguez, and I am the Manager of Rock, Paper, Scissors.
I am Hawa Bahaduddin, and I am the Manager of Enchanted Folding.
I am Victoria Diaz, President and Manager at Executive Branch.
I am Mayra Amaro, and I am the Fire and Safety Marshal, and I am also the Manager of Peacekeepers. We hope you appreciated our presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Is that your pen?
That's not my pen. Do you have my backpack? Yes.
All right, thank you again to the Joyner Micro Society program. It's fantastic. We might be coming to you for a little mentorship in the future. Okay, can we get a motion to adopt today's agenda with Section I, the superintendent's consent agenda, to be considered following the adoption of the agenda and acted on next?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, please vote. Okay, does any board member wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? If not, can we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
So second.
Okay, please vote. Okay. Ms. Donovan is never here. Oh, here she comes. No recordable items?
No recordable items.
Okay, thank you. And administrative assignments?
There are none. President Barrera, actually there was one vote to non-reelect a single probationary employee.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like the ASB student representatives to the board to introduce yourselves. Please tell us about yourself and what is going on at your school, both academically and socially. We'll start with Alyssa Antonio, who's the ASB president at Morse High School. Alyssa?
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Antonio, and I'm the ASB president for Morse High School. So the upcoming events that Morse is hosting is karaoke night, which is on March 16th. We are having our Sadie Hawkins dance on April 14th. For the seniors, we are having our senior cruise on June 9th. Our grad night is on June 10th, and graduation will be on June 14th. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tara Santana is the ASB president at San Diego High School.
Good evening, board members, President Barrera, and Superintendent Cindy Martin, and everybody else. I am the president of San Diego High School. I represent all the schools at San Diego High School. Our ASB is very active within our school community and surrounding community as a whole. As of last weekend, we hosted our rally for our winter sports and also hosted our winter ball, which was held at the Lafayette Hotel here at El Cajon Boulevard. Our sports teams have excelled recently within our men's soccer team, which is advancing to the semifinal round in the CIF. Our number one ranked team in Division II will host Mission Hills at San Diego High School for the bid of the finals. All 2,400 students at San Diego High School participated in our rally, and over 340 students attended our dance. In terms of academics, our student body is preparing for the upcoming AP and IB testing. Also, over 300 students in our junior class will be traveling to over a dozen colleges in the spring all over the state of California. This is a part of our annual trip that has taken place for the last 30 years. Most importantly, this past fall, our students were heavily involved in the passage of Measure I, passing with over 78% of the vote, saving San Diego High School and ensuring our place within the downtown community for many more years to come. Thank you.
Okay, we have no superintendent information report tonight. Any board members wish to give an information report? Yes, Dr. Payne?
I would just like to say congratulations to the Lincoln High School girls basketball team. They're an exciting, wonderful game, and an energetic team. And the main reason I wanted to say something is this week the schools are recognizing Dr. Seuss, and I know several of us are going out to schools, but I did get a SOS from Encanto Elementary School. They need some more people to come and read to the students on Thursday morning at 8:15. So if you can give up a half an hour to go and read to students at Encanto Elementary School, please do so, because I think there are about 10 to 12 spots still open. And then I just want to say, go out to any of the schools in your neighborhood, because I know on Friday, I believe Hamilton, Fay, Clay, and a lot of other schools are having this reading activity. It's once a year. If you could just give up 1 hour in the morning to go out and read to a class, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Whitehurst-Payne. Dr. McCrory.
Yeah, I heard the call, and I'll be going in Canto, also to Fay and to Hamilton. Also, I spent time last week at KIPP School talking about Career Day. I was invited along with about a couple of dozen of other people who work in the community to talk to students about careers and tell our story and what we did and how we got there and what we felt like when we were their age, looking forward, and what would we suggest. So it was a great experience, and I recommend people sharing your stories with our students as they have their special day to learn about careers and jobs and opportunities, to see what the real world looks like and hear the voices of the people who have been there. In addition, I shared an evening with the PDK and superintendent's dinner where we honored the county superintendents around for the good work that they're doing. And so related to that, we'll have a CSBA AXA event, and we'll be honoring our own. And I think I can announce that Dr. Sharon Hearn Whitehurst-Payne will be the board trustee of the year, and congratulations.
Okay. Kevin, any?
Yeah, I just real quick, just want to congratulate the Scripps Ranch High School mock trial team for winning first place in San Diego County. Amazing group of kids at Scripps Ranch High School. And now Scripps Ranch High School mock trial team will go on to the statewide competition. Also, some other good news. Yesterday, I believe it was, the Scripps Ranch High School soccer team won, and now they go on to the CIF semifinal game. Happy Dr. Seuss's birthday, everyone.
All right. Okay, can we get a motion to approve the entire board consent agenda, items F1, 2, and 3?
So moved.
Second? Please vote. Okay, and do we have a motion on the ratification of our MOU with the San Diego Education Association for a 2016-2017 supplemental early retirement program?
I enthusiastically move this item to offer an early retirement incentive to those folks that are able to retire. Please look at this opportunity.
Equally enthusiastically second the motion.
Okay, we have two speakers. We'll give you 3 minutes each on this item. Citizen?
I wouldn't be so enthusiastic about this SERP. That means that you're giving money to people in retirement that wasn't earned. The burden of that money, the payment of that money, is going to be borne by the employees that are looking at layoffs right now. Now, if somebody wants to retire and they've earned their retirement, they should retire. For this school board and Superintendent Cindy Martin to write out checks for more money when they're looking at laying off over 1,200 people, it's not appropriate. This isn't something to celebrate. This is an award. When you're a public servant, you earn your retirement for the time that you worked. But for this school board to start writing checks when it's telling everybody that there is no money and you're going to lose your job and you can't pay your bills and you're afraid of losing your home, it's very inappropriate. Now, Cindy Martin has mismanaged this money horribly. She's going to eliminate the internal audit position, the one position in this school district that can watch the money. And she's going to get rid of it. And you need to ask yourselves why. This isn't something you should be voting and approving tonight. You should be taking that money and you should be shifting it to save some jobs.
Okay, Keisha Borden.
Thank you. I urge you to accept the SERP tonight. This is a creative method to address the district's budget deficit. By offering the SERP, which is not a golden handshake, you are giving educators a respectful, dignified way to leave the district. Educators who have spent decades supporting the students of our city. More importantly, the SERP allows the district to realize real savings without putting hundreds of educators through the devastating effects of pink slips. Frankly, this should have been done months ago so that you would now have a clearer picture of how many actual layoff notices need to be issued. Again, I urge you to vote to accept the SERP tonight.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Just a comment really briefly. I think this is important because what will happen, a certain number of positions are being eliminated, but we're talking about people who are in those positions, and the more people who are taking early retirement, there's an opportunity to decrease the number of layoffs that we have to do, so we need to support this measure.
I agree with Trustee John Evans. There's a couple of things that are really important about offering retirement incentive. First of all, for each person that takes a retirement incentive, that's another pink slip that we don't necessarily need to issue. We can pull that back. That's very important. If 500 people take the retirement incentive, then that will result in fewer people being laid off. Straight up. Second reason why this is important is because we've ran the numbers, and by allowing people at the top of the pay scale the opportunity to retire, then folks at the bottom of the pay scale can continue working, and that captures millions of dollars in savings. So there's a variety of reasons why this is the right thing to do at this time. And so I urge everybody on the board to vote yes for this SERP.
Thank you, Trustee Bowser. Nope. Okay, with that, please vote. Okay, passes 5-0. Okay, we now are on to item H1. This is the second reading of our development of our district budget that we heard a first reading last week. We have a number of public speakers, but I'd actually like to get a motion in a second and then hear from the public speakers. So do we have a motion on item H1?
I move item H1, the superintendent recommendation for district budget.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay. So we have a large number of speakers, so I'm going to limit each speaker to 1 minute apiece. So I'm going to call your names up, and please come forward. Kelly Simpson, Bill Navikas, Mary Lou Baranski, Carl Warkentine, Aaron Rubin, Evelyn Keogh, Carly Zamora, Jocelyn Dane, Francis Cotto, and Donna Tenney's. If I called your name, please come forward, and you have a minute apiece. Go ahead.
Okay. Put this up high here. Hello, my name is Kelly Simpson, and I am a certified occupational therapy assistant. KPBS education reporter Megan Burks interviewed Deanne Ragsdale, Executive Director of Special Ed. She stated, and I quote, "When staffing levels are budgeted, we can meet the needs of students. I feel proposed codas means one thing: the OTs will have to increase their workloads to meet the current needs, the students with special needs. This will negatively impact our students. OTs and codas support students in the classroom who are not emotionally regulated and engage in negative, disruptive behaviors. Such behaviors result in lost instruction and risk the safety of the entire class without our support. CODAs in particular support teachers who need helping managing behaviors so they can focus on developing skills and academics of all students in their classroom. Our job as CODAs are to provide and augment support when the OT is busy, assessing students, written reports, attending IP meetings, and preparing for due process cases.
Thanks,
We request you rescind the resolution for layoffs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bill Navikas. I am the Counseling and Guidance Governance Chair and Head Counselor at Patrick Henry High School. I've been sitting here so long, I kind of forgot what I was going to say, so fortunately I wrote it down. Counselors help students graduate and get into college. Once again, counseling is facing disproportionate cuts. Many secondary schools are facing cuts that would make positions reduced to a 0.5 or less. As a head counselor, I cannot give a full caseload to a 0.5 position counselor, just as someone would not give a full teaching schedule to a part-time teacher. This puts our position over the contract and limits our ability to help students graduate and get into college. There are many cuts that could be made to positions here in this building, and we ask that there are no cuts to employees who work directly with students.
Thank you.
I had one more comment. Additionally, I invite all of you to come to our governance meetings, which are held the third Thursday of each month. Thank you.
Of course, I go after the really tall guy. Good evening, I'm Mary Lou Baranowski, the physical education teacher at Lindbergh Schweitzer and 2016 San Diego County Teacher of the Year finalist. California mandates that elementary age students receive 200 minutes of PE every 10 days. It is the only subject matter with state-mandated minutes, which I meet at my site with high-quality, standards-based instruction. My students leave elementary school with the ability, the confidence, and desire to be physically active for life. Should you cut elementary prep time, I can guarantee that classroom teachers will not meet these minutes because they do not have the time, training, or expertise to address the PE standards. PE programs provide students with a foundation for a lifetime of health, wellness, and character development. It is crucial to the education of the total person and requires a quality program taught by PE teachers. As John F. Kennedy said, if we fail to encourage physical development and prowess, we will undermine our capacity for thought, for work, and for the uses of those skills vital to an expanding and complex America. Thank you.
Carl Workentine. The superintendent's page reads, Martin believes there are no excuses when it comes to providing children with the very best conditions. Cutting 834 people who directly impact student outcomes sends the message loud and clear. You do not think educators are worth it, and children can survive with less. Cut the overhead away from the classrooms first. Trickle down sacrifice. You signed a mutually agreed upon contract. You breach our contract, violate collective bargaining, and go on television to let the public know what you want to do. Your signatures and words mean nothing. You can't be trusted. When the teachers, children, parents hear you speak or read your letters, why should they believe you? Teachers are problem solvers. Let the Prep Time Committee and the school site advisory committees continue to exercise their rights and do their jobs. Actions speak louder than words. Delete phrases like Vision 2020 will create a school district that facilitates communication and support. You've chosen to bargain in the media, silence teachers, and you don't support the existing contract.
Thank you.
Evelyn Kill. It was the 24th of April, 1975, 6 days before.
Just give us your name, I'm sorry.
Evelyn Kill.
Evelyn, thank you.
You take away my minutes. It was 24th of April, 1975, 6 days before the fall of Saigon, Vietnam. I had 30 minutes to get out of my house and move. So just like that, taking pieces of my life, I left Vietnam as a refugee. I ended up as a student in this district, and I was my own shadow. I was bullied regularly. Kids would pull their eyes slanted and tell me, ching chong, and they found 100 ways to bully me. Mrs. Palmer, my ninth grade counselor, was the only one that I could march into her office at any time and spilling my troubles. Then in my 12th grade, Mr. Peck was the one who helped me fill out the admission application for San Diego State and also helped me filling out the FAFSA. I have been a counselor with the district for 27 years, doing exactly the same thing that Mrs. Palmer and Mr. Peck had done for me. With the influx of refugees coming into our district, and it's unprecedented with the after World War II, this is the time that we have a lot of refugees.
Evelyn will need to wrap up.
Board members, with a stroke of your pen, you are going to eliminate that counselor that could talk to a kid when they are bullied, and with a stroke of your pen, you are going to eliminate a counselor
Thank you,
who
Evelyn.
could help a refugee get their education.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Rubin. I'm the head counselor at Mission Bay High School. It is in my capacity as the elected SDEA Association representative for all counselors that I speak here today. On a daily basis, I have the opportunity to speak with counselors. Many are affected by the prospects of layoffs. I see counselors still doing all the wonderful things we need. However, I see the threat of losing their jobs weigh heavily on their minds. Counselors are strong people, but as Maslow's hierarchy of needs articulates, one has trouble with higher level thinking when their basic human needs are not being satisfied. In this case, having a career that supports themselves and their families is required to meet their basic needs of food and shelter. The amount of lost productivity due to this scare is extremely upsetting. This is to say nothing of the students who will be denied academic, personal, social, and career college services if their counselors are laid off. I urge the board to vote no on these unnecessary layoffs. If not, students will not receive necessary services, and district staff and their families will face financial uncertainty. I ask that you explore all alternative possibilities before letting one of our most precious resources go. Vote no on layoffs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Carly Zamora. I'm here to ask our board members, the officials who we have elected, to be our voice tonight. Superintendent Martin says this budget cut won't affect our classroom. As a parent, I disagree with that comment. Cutting positions will affect the classroom. Superintendent Martin says we have small classroom sizes, which is only true for grades K through 3rd. My fourth grader sits in a bungalow with 33 students. There's barely enough room for his teacher to walk down the middle aisle. If a child was in there with the wheelchair, they wouldn't be able to move around the classroom. I feel that the classroom should be small, regardless if you're in 4th grade, 3rd grade, 12th grade, 8th grade. The school district can't even afford the basics, but yet we're giving our administration Cadillac benefits. Our superintendent's total pay and benefit package each year amounts to over $330,000, but yet our children sit in classrooms that are crowded, attend a school with little to no funding. My son is an ASB and has to provide his own supplies to make posters or banners to advertise his events. I ask the board to be our voice for our children who are our future leaders of tomorrow, and roll those benefits, some of those Cadillac benefits down to our children. They deserve more than the basic needs.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Frank Caro. My son goes to Hage Elementary School. I'm also a high school teacher, and I'd like to just speak briefly on the importance of PE in education across all subject matters. There's an enormous amount of evidence that PE or physical activity there's neurological benefits to it, psychological benefits to it, which all go back to educational benefits. And when children are exposed to activity, physical activity during the day, it enhances their learning and memory. There's no question about that in psychological studies and neurological studies. And also, physical education also enhances children's ability to enhances their attention spans. And so you've got all these benefits that oftentimes get overlooked. PE has a lot more meaning to all the other subject matters. So if learning is important, you definitely have to keep PE in the day's schedule to enhance for these kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Callie Thies, Leticia Munguia, Jennifer Ragusa, Patricia Mejorado, Maureen Rice, Jose Serna, Robbie DePero, Lisa Nielsen, Gloria Pacheco, and Ruth Morales.
You did that when it was my turn on purpose.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm kidding. Hi, my name is Donna Tennis.
Oh, I'm sorry, Donna.
And I want to say good evening to everybody, but I don't want to take too much of my time. So today I'm here to speak my mind about an idea that frankly I found hard to believe this current superintendent and school board were considering. It's the elimination of the elementary preparation time program. I have these cards here that represent the amount of teachers that I see on a weekly basis at my school. They've also written you little notes on the back if you want to read those later. The quality physical education program I provide is similar to those that specialists in other subject areas provide to our students at all our elementary sites: technology, science, dance, music, art, and library, to name a few. It seems like people who made these suggestions weren't aware of the constant pile of work any classroom teacher has at the elementary level. I'm one of those crazy people who actually read the board reports, and I've been stunned that in the last few years at the increasing amount of new management jobs or roles that have been created in our district. I encourage the board to look at how much money is being paid to staff that are not in direct service to students.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Callie Thies, and I am the PE prep teacher at Edison Elementary School. Every year, school sites are given a choice as to which prep emphasis is best for their specific school population. In 2013, Edison Elementary made the change to PE prep because the principal, staff, and parents had recognized students in the Hoover cluster were in a health crisis. Almost half of our students, grades K through 5, were overweight and many technically obese. The Edison community desperately needed a change. When I interviewed at Edison, my principal explained this to me and asked me many questions to ensure that I had the passion and commitment to lead a change in these students' lives. I was honored when I was selected to take on this important role. Prep positions are not randomly chosen simply to give teachers their planning minutes. They are thoughtfully and purposefully chosen to target the specific needs of each unique community. Please don't take away the right of our children to fully benefit from what their prep time offers. Please support me and my colleagues in fulfilling our purpose of enriching the lives of our students through our specialized fields. Thank you.
My name is Ruth Morales. I am an occupational therapy specialist. I am here on behalf of the 10 certified OT assistants that have been identified for excess or reduction due to budget cuts. Our OT department has been able to function efficiently due to teamwork between the OTs and the certified OT assistants. Our OT assistants are health professionals certified by the national board, and they are licensed by the state board. They are the eyes and hands of the OTs by providing direct services to students, gathering data by documenting student performance, supporting students in the classroom, preparing adapted material, and delivering adapted equipment, among others. They're a key component to provide OT services to students as specified in their IEP. The school district will do a disservice to our special education students by ignoring this fact. And if we want brains ready to learn, we need PE in elementary schools. We request you rescind the resolution for layoffs.
Good evening, everyone. Leticia Munguia, Field Director with the California School Employees Association. This evening, representing 9,000 of our classified employees at San Diego Unified, both the Operation Support Services, the Office Technical and Business, and our paraeducator unit. The number of layoffs that we've been noticed averages on or about 853. I do want to make sure that it's for the record that the notification that the district has provided has been deficient under the terms of the collective bargaining agreement. The staff that's been assigned to bring forward these different notifications have not followed typical protocol that the district has honored in the past as it relates to notice and has been in violation of the collective bargaining agreement. It is very unfortunate that the district and the senior staff in this district has chosen such a poor poor approach in dealing with such a difficult situation. The ethics that surround these layoffs and the conversations that they have and how they have occurred. One of our bargaining units bargained this morning only to be blackmailed at the bargaining table to divide our unit. Those actions are reprehensible, should not occur, and we should lead by example. And again, rescind this layoffs. It's preemptive, and you have received 63% of the local control funding formula. One of the third largest districts benefiting. You need to ensure that your accounting and your fiscal department and your senior staff is responsible for ensuring that the work is being done and that our members are not sacrificed because of bad and poor administration.
Thank you, Leticia.
Uncertainty. That's what we're feeling. Communication. I urge this board to communicate. We received detailed lists of positions being cut. However, we have not seen plans on how these services will continue. ITSS, for example, would have a full help desk, but virtually no technicians to go out to sites. One of those technicians serves thousands of our students. Training and curriculum that was done by EdTech will still be needed, but they're gone. The only webmaster who also broadcasts these events is cut. Administrator, teachers, certificated classified staff, parents, community, and students need to know what is our plan. Effectively and timely communication, transparency, accountability, and shared decision-making is the only way a district this large can function. Thank you.
My name's Robbie DePiro, and I'm the physical education teacher at Perry Elementary. Research shows that there's a direct correlation between your fitness level and academic achievement. And I think the decisions that are being made tonight are going to greatly impact probably our most vulnerable students, our 5 to 10-year-olds. I provide a quality, standards-based 21st century program at Perry. I welcome you to come anytime. I'd love to have the board members come. When we work out, we feel better. I think everybody, right now, if we were to get up and do a little boogie, we'd all be thinking a little bit better. Our memory, our recall, our focus, everything would be better. And I think taking that away from our kids, especially from trained professionals, is short-sighted. And I would encourage you to vote yes, or maybe no. We don't want the teachers to be laid off with elementary prep time. So, there's multiple reasons. We feel good. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah.
My name is Patty Mejado. I'm a school counselor. There's a war on children in this country. The main point of attack on public education. As a school counselor, I know what side I'm on. What side are you on? Are you on the side of children or profit? Lack of transparency has not shown a definite reason for these budget deficit, and we know the 5% raises aren't the cause. School sites budgets were decreased prior to the FTE numbers being published, and they were forced to choose between us and nurses. Are you okay with that? What's your ultimate goal? Instead of helping us fight the attack on public education, you deplete the resources and we're stuck with the workload. Are you going to help students who voice they want to kill themselves, or do the workload that VPs are doing that will fall on us? You certainly take priority in paying 6-digit figures to those at the top and giving yourself minimal cuts while the rest of us are at the sides desperately dealing with the lack of resources. I suggest you fix the problems you have created over the years, not lay people off for your mistakes and then have students pay the final price. Whose side of this war are you on?
Hi, board. Hi, Cindy Martin. And I'd also like to address Deanne Ragsdale, who's not here.
You just give us your name, please.
My name is Lisa Nielsen. I just broke my son's picture, but this is my son. He's one of the children being affected from the 37 mod to severe classes closing. This smile was taken at his school, and this is how he is every day at Foster Elementary. I received these letters saying that my son will be moved to Marvin Elementary. What a shock. His teacher will no longer have a job, his SETs. I wear this hat because he loves Snoopy, and his teacher, Miss Mary Beth Ekemel, loves Snoopy. Sorry, I'm nervous. So again, I'm his voice. He has no idea what's going on. Come next year, he will be at a different school. He will have no familiar friends, no common teachers. Everything is new. When I choiced him at Foster, I was told I would have 1,080 days. Once he is choiced, he would go through 5th grade. He has 68 more days. Because of your poor budget, because of adults' poor budget mistakes. He has 68 days left at Foster. He has no idea. Please consider doing your decision in this. 37 schools are affected, not just our special needs children, but hundreds of typical children that will no longer have our children at their sites.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, Louise Lucas, Christine Katan Saridi, Susanna Emery, Megan Caper, Marlene Chavez, Julia De La Paz, Bethany Sevilla Embuido, Kimberly Allard, Aaron Porres, Michelle Cutters.
Michelle Cutters is not coming tonight.
Okay.
She's sick.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Marlene Chavez, and I currently provide occupational therapy services at Kumeyaay Elementary, Miller Elementary, and Terrasan Elementary School. I am one of 10 CODAs you are proposing to lay off due to the budget crisis. If you lay me off, this means 60 students will not receive occupational therapy services in a week. It is part of their individual education plan. In 1 week, that is approximately 100 hours of OT services missed due to the lack of one CODA support. While numbers are helpful, it is also the reason why I'm here tonight. In balancing budgets, departments become numbers, but we are more than just a number. That is why I'm going to have a colleague tell you a day without a CODA. We request you rescind the resolution for our layoffs.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susanna Emery, and I'm a CODA as well. I am also one of the 10 CODAs that you have proposed in laying off. Last week I spoke to the impact, and today I'm going to share about a day without a CODA. Coincidentally, one of my responsibilities last year was to support a student in special ed in the micro society at Joyner. At breakfast, you can see students with orthopedic impairments that may not receive adaptive equipment. They will not be able to feed themselves independently, and the paraprofessional working with them is not going to get their training. This means that they will have to feed themselves, or that an adult will feed them, and they will not be able to interact with their peers. We also help children with self-regulation, and a student with an emotional disturbance will miss a session in self-regulation for prosocial behaviors. This means that the student will not learn coping strategies. If they do not learn those coping strategies, then they cannot access valuable academic instruction. This is a shame because this student, and a lot of our students, are brilliant. This one is brilliant in math and will not be able to see their potential realized. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Megan Caper, and I'm an occupational therapy specialist at Bird Rock Elementary, Sunset View Elementary, and Silvergate Elementary Schools. Susanna Emery, who you just heard from, is my occupational therapy assistant, and I'm not sure how I'm going to manage my caseload without her. And I don't know how I'm going to meet the legal requirements in the IEPs to provide services to these students without her. I can't provide services that I'm going to feel good about at the end of the day without my CODA support to help provide those services. Let me tell you a little bit more about a day without a CODA. In the afternoon, a student with autism does not receive a visual support strategy to help with organization of materials. Although a brilliant budding scientist, the teaching staff will never know because he frequently leaves crucial materials behind while trying to cope with a multisensory comprehensive secondary school campus. Before the day ends, a student with a specific learning disability in visual processing struggles to access assistive technology to complete her writing assignment with greater independence and ease. She knows what she wants to write, but she is unable to type well enough. She becomes frustrated and receives an incomplete on her assignment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christine Catanzariti, and I'm an occupational therapy specialist. You've heard a little bit about the legal requirements, not just mandated by federal law, but also by the state to maintain our licenses within the state of California. As we reminded you last session that we are also medical professionals working in an educational capacity. We have many responsibilities: assessing existing students every 3 years, assessing new students, writing assessment reports, attending IEPs, which is the most problematic part of losing our CODA support, because we attend multiple IEPs for the same student, or as many of 3 IEPs in the same day across different sites. Where's the time to travel, complete Medi-Cal treatment plans, and our daily documentation? Throughout the year, my numbers grow substantially. Each year, I've been given additional CODA support to meet the needs of what typically becomes a caseload of 100 or more students. If you're committed to keeping small class sizes to preserve the quality of academic instruction, then I would hope you would commit to keeping reasonable caseloads to preserve the quality of therapy for our most vulnerable students. We are a passionate group. We love our profession. We care deeply for our students, and we are committed to providing therapy that produces meaningful educational benefit. We did not get into this to be box checkers.
My name is Kimberly Allard. I'm a science lab teacher at Vista Grande. Prep time teachers are the iron and nickel of our schools, the most stable elements. No other teacher has the potential for striking gold with students for up to 7 years. Prep time teachers take on roles beyond classroom shells and are often the nucleus and extracurricular activities, SGTs, SSCs, foundations, and more. We are the copper that conducts the energy, often in kids that struggle socially and academically. We are curriculum experts, no matter what emphasis, and the choice that emphasis is the carbon of the school community, the life and the building blocks of diamonds yet to be formed. To keep students from leaving, it is essential that we offer enriching and engaging programs that attract our students to stay, not repel them to leave by discontinuing programs that they love. This hypothesis of cutting student enrichment classes has too many variables and is poorly designed. Don't let our kids be the lab rats of badly designed experiments. Keep the teachers at the communities they have helped to build.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Juliette De La Paz, RN, credentialed school nurse. Happy to see some familiar faces, and I hope you're doing well. I stand before you today as a steward and defender of public education, and I assert that everyone gathered here today, as well as the many who are not able to be present, are all united in this same mission: to educate and to provide opportunities to our future, our children, our students. I appreciate being able to speak on this subject, and I wanted to use this time to make a request to the public to stand with us and make education California's top priority. I call upon our elected officials, state legislatures, and the Honorable Governor Jerry Brown to reevaluate budget priorities and put students first. Many of us are interested in solving this deficit and doing so without losing our precious faculty and staff members. We are an innovative district filled with amazing people, teams, and communities who produce extraordinary results. Needless to say, we cannot function without the very people who keep our schools going. Let's send ourselves to Sacramento and fight for rights together.
Good evening, teachers, parents, and fellow students. My name is Bethany Sophia Embuino, Vice President of Hage Elementary Student Council. I decided to stand in front of you to express my opinion regarding the value of physical education for us students. PE is very helpful for us to stay healthy physically, emotionally, and mentally. As we all know, our generation is glued to electronic devices that just make us sit around and do nothing, which is very unhealthy. PE motivates us to be more active and healthy, for us to think more effectively in school, and helps us achieve scholastically. It also helps a lot of parents who are busy working, and most of the time they don't have time to take their kids to activities. Think of a day without any physical activity. Think of kids suffering from obesity, diabetes, depression, and many more at an early age. Thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that more people from past generation that had physical education in school could also come up and share the importance of it for everyone. Thank you, and again, good evening to everyone.
Great job.
Good evening. My name's Aaron Porras. I work at UC High School. I want to thank Mr. Pereira for speaking nice and clearly into the microphone for those of us outside. I'm here to speak on behalf of the GATE program in the school district. I went through the GATE program myself at Encanto Elementary School, Bell Junior High School, and La Jolla High School, and I'm now a teacher in the GATE program at UC High. And over the years, I have just seen that program get chipped away at more and more to the point where I hear we now have no testing services possibly for younger children. And I'm teaching in a packed classroom full of kids that need depth, complexity, acceleration, and novelty. And it's, I don't know if you know how hard it is to provide that kind of acceleration and complexity to a large group of students, but in terms of retaining students in the school district and not losing more funding or disheartening the students even more, I just wanted to advocate on their behalf and ask you to please just think about the impact this is having on the kids.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maureen Rice. I am a school counselor at Burbank Elementary and Florence Elementary. I'm also the parent of a 9th grader at Point Loma High School and a 7th grader at Grant K-8. And it blows me away to imagine the district making more staff cuts when I already see day after day everybody on campus is stretched so thin. We are working to the max. We are staying late. We are bringing work home with us. People are exhausted because we care about the kids. We care about the students. And I get really freaked out when I think about the possibility that there'll be less counselors next year. I mean, that to me is, it's just unfathomable to me, and it's really worrisome. We have a lot of students in the district with mental health issues. A lot of students at a younger age were exposed to trauma. They have parents in prison and so forth, and I just really want you to think about how these cuts will affect the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Carmen Lone, Dozner Jones, Cindy Elrod, Keith Kaneko, Francis Lisk, Vicky Patikin, Sylvia Alvarez, Sophie Knowles, Joellen Archer, and Heather Ponsica. And go ahead, Sylvia.
Thank you. All right, Sylvia Alvarez, Chapter President, OTBS. So when I have members emailing me, asking me how could they, I don't have any answers. You didn't come to us. You didn't collaborate and ask us, where could we make the cuts? We were told that cuts were going to be made, and you were going to try to keep them away from the classroom. Well, just in listening today, I don't have to say anything. All the cuts are going to affect the classroom. We've come repeatedly. We've had ideas about bringing up attendance, more staff to follow up on truancy. You don't listen. So now my feeling is now your enrollment's not going to go up. Your attendance is not going to improve. And with the cut to the police officers, the schools are not going to be safe. You have to rethink this. So do you really look at these cuts? I honestly this time don't believe that you really look at the positions. You've got dropout mentors, children, youth, and transition, race and human relations, the most fragile population. Their services are cut. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Martin. My name is Carmen Lone. I am a certified occupational therapy assistant, COTA for short. I work in 5 elementary schools in the Point Loma cluster, and I have 1 OT specialist. Our current caseload is 105 students and growing, with 16 open assessments. My therapist on any given day will have 3 IEPs at 3 different schools. From the beginning of the school year to present day, as a team, we have logged 2,008 OT visits. I myself will see approximately 12 to 15 students multiple times a week. If I was not working with my OT specialist, she would have a tremendous amount of service hours to provide for each student. So to be in compliance with each individual IEP, this does not include any meetings. Our students are unique and amazing in so many ways. COTAs teach vital life skills such as self-regulation skills, social and emotional strategies, and how to play and make friends. They learn how to cut, use scissors, and to be a part of a community and a part of a group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent Martin and board members. I'm Sophie Knowles, First VP of OTBS, and I'm here. I work at the Neighborhood Schools and Women Options office. Golly, I just can't believe that you can sit there and not think that these cuts in staff, in programs, in meeting the needs of our students, our fragile communities, won't affect our students. It's the closest thing to our students. And I don't know, when I heard Ms. Martin, your 2020 vision, I'm really on board about that. That's just the best thing ever. But when we're looking at all these cuts and all these layoffs, and some of the steps we're broadening and having broad and challenging curriculum, enrolling high numbers of neighborhood students in their neighborhood schools and having quality schools, and having a safe and well-maintained school environment, having quality teaching. But when you cut everything, there's nothing left. And we should have been growing our district. And we haven't been doing that. And now the department that can help you do that has also been cut. And so we're driving our students out of our district. We're not maintaining and we're not recruiting.
Thanks, Sophie.
Thank you.
Good evening, board. I've been here before. My name is Joellen Archer. In fact, this is deja vu. I went through all the cuts in 2010, and the sad commentary is you didn't learn from that. You are making the same drastic cuts you made before. We haven't even come back from the cuts you gave the classified last time. And now, you don't even see a big picture. You're cutting all these little departments, but you know what they do to come together? They support the staff. They support the students. Your ADA is going to go down. Your goal of the farthest from the cuts from the classroom is doomed. You are not going to have the support at the schools for the classrooms to succeed. You're not looking at the big picture and how each part works together. You're only like Chicken Little and saying, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, we must cut. I, as a parent, have encouraged both my sons to work for the district, and I'm sorry I did. I have one that is a teacher and one who works from the supply center.
Thanks, Joelle.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Keith Konecka, and I'm a physical education prep teacher at Hage Elementary School. Here's something to think about. Adults understand things like budgets and politics, but kids don't. So adults don't understand how and why things can be taken away. Now picture saying this: kids, there's no PE anymore. Sorry kids, no swimming, gymnastics, weekly fitness, no dance. What is so disheartening is that kids won't understand why, after having PE their entire elementary lives, it will be taken away. It's like saying, sorry kids, no birthdays. We teach our students how to connect what they learn in the PE to their lives every day. But this disconnect of PE being eliminated will not easily be understood. You've heard the voices from community members, parents, prep teachers, classroom teachers, and most important of all, our students. Before you vote, carefully consider these voices and the impact you will have upon their future. Physically educating children is and has always been a priority in our district. Let's keep it that way.
Good evening. Cindy Elrod, Gage Elementary physical education teacher. I am surprised that you chose to eliminate the elementary prep time program. While our district begins to implement the new school site wellness initiative, out of the many elementary schools, 80 to 85 sites selected physical education as their focus. We have a crisis in our children's health. This district map of elementary schools' body mass index indicates 30 to 44% are at risk for obesity. You can see it in red, based on the district's 2015 FitnessGram results. The map also shows the red areas that are defined by socioeconomic and lower performing schools. With the elimination of prep time, the red will increase instead of turning yellow. Studies have shown the correlation of BMI and academic performance. Dr. Robert Siegel from the Pediatric Obesity Clinic at Cincinnati Children's Hospital states obesity affects virtually every organ system in the body, including the brain. It's an inflammatory state, and that may have effects on the developing mind. Up until recently, most schools have gone towards doing more in the classroom to improve academic performance without looking at the big picture. Physical education and physical activity play a very, very important role and will ultimately lead to better academic performance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vicky Petiquin, mother of 3 boys, ages 9, 6, and 2. I built up the courage today and wanted to speak up and let you know that losing Mr. Konecko and our PE program at Hage Elementary would be such a complete disappointment and bring sadness to our children and in the community. They need the time outside to enjoy the sun in their faces, breathe, challenge themselves physically, and most importantly, play in a safe and fun environment with a trained prep teacher. Upon returning to class, they are rejuvenated, ready to focus and take on the math test or a lesson with a clear mind. We are 1 out of 3 schools that include swimming in our PE program, a life skill to have living in San Diego and enjoy the beaches here. Because of your help, 350 students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students are given the opportunity to learn how to swim. Imagine if they didn't have the funds for their kids to put them through swimming lessons. So taking it away from our school will be a big loss. I have over 560 signatures from individuals who believe in saving our PE programs and PE teachers. I got the courage to actually walk around everywhere telling people that you guys are taking away the PE programs. Please do your very best to find a way in your budget to help keep our children's hearts healthy and pumping.
Thank you, Vicki. Okay, Miriam Rochon, Mickey Sullivan, Jessica Lucky, John Sims, Laura Toland, Michael Sakasagawa, Candy Nieto, Ryan Velasco, Carrie Woods, and Jennifer Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Miriam Rochon, and I'm the elementary school counselor at Hage Field in Kumeyaay. I would like to address the cuts in particular to counseling positions. I work at 3 elementary school locations, and I'm split 2 days, 1 day, and 1.5 day. The schools that I am there at 2 days, the principal pays for 1 of my days out of her side budget. We have part-time school psychologists and nurses, and we're currently operating schools at a bare minimum as it is. My question is, how can we run schools without any of these supports? Our districts talk about keeping the cuts out of the classrooms. However, by cutting our counselors and support staff, we are directly affecting every student. There are so many parts of a school that need to be functioning properly in order to reach our overall goal by producing healthy, strong, intelligent students that are future of our society body as a whole. In order for our bodies to be functioning properly, we need all of our organs to be present and working. With that said, if we want a properly functioning, successful schools for our students, then we need all staff members. That includes teachers, counselors, nurses, and PE. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Gonzalez. I am a certified occupational therapy assistant, also known as a CODA. CODAs are educated and trained specifically to work directly with the most vulnerable population in schools today. We work with medically fragile students on a daily basis. OTs, OT specialists that is, can only be supported by a board-certified licensed OTA with a degree from an accredited college program. An OTA services an IEP or individual education plan, a legal binding contract under the Individual with Disabilities Education Act. Any compromise to any of these mentioned items would result in noncompliance for the district and also for the individual OT. Loss of money, loss of licensure. Heavy caseloads will create non-compliance. Heavy caseloads will impact our students. The OTA model allows the OT to focus on assessments, evaluations, annual and triannual IEPs. The CODA focuses on direct intervention. The collaboration of the duo provides quality services to the students while keeping the overall cost of services down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carrie Woods, and I have been a classified employee for 17 years. I am currently serving in my 4th year on the CSEA Board of Directors. In my capacity as a board member, I have been asked many times to speak on behalf of my fellow brothers and sisters to school boards that are not treating their members fairly and equitably. I am appalled that you are considering laying off 800 classified employees in your district. There is absolutely no way these cuts won't affect their educational experience. Ms. Martin, you stated on February 21st at the board meeting that understanding the importance of not just the legal mandate required in IEPs, but the moral imperative to assure that each and every one of our students with special needs has all of their needs met and served through our system. The services will absolutely be there. Ms. Martin?
Paying attention.
Can you please make eye contact with me? Thank you. How can you possibly guarantee that those services will be there when you plan to lay off 470 paraeducators? That absolutely will affect your most valuable vulnerable students. How do you expect that mandating reporting and student records will be kept up to date if you lay off your OTBS people? Your complex computer systems and classroom hardware will be in serious jeopardy. Hold on, I need to finish. I drove all the way from Orange County to meet with you today.
One wrap up.
How do you plan to keep students safe and your administrators and your staff safe if you lay off your security personnel? Despite the massive impact these cuts will have on the employees, students, and the greater community, Ms. Martin, according to an article published in the San Diego Union Tribune on February 24th, the cuts we make now will improve the long-term financial stability of the district so families understand they can count on our schools for the future. I seriously disagree with that statement.
Carrie, please wrap it up.
I am. I believe that you all will be more concerned with the here and now. What good does this do to long-term plans for your students that are sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school? You're responsible for the second largest school district in the state of California, and you benefit from the LCSF at 63%.
Okay. Carrie, thank you. Thank
We
you.
are asking that you go back to the table and make some other way of making these cuts. It is not okay to balance your deficit on the backs of classified employees. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Mike Sakasagawa, and I'm a parent of 2 students at Hage Elementary. I'm here because the PE program at Hage, including PE fitness, dance fitness, and swim, is a vitally important part of the curriculum at Hage, and I strongly oppose the proposed elimination of elementary prep teachers. Not only, as a lot of other people have mentioned, does the regular physical activity in the form of PE promote the physical health and well-being of these kids, but it is also a key part of their academic development, as noted by numerous studies, and I've seen this myself, the ability to focus, all of these things. If the board is serious about giving students what they need for academic success and a healthy lifestyle, it's crucial that students have access to high-quality PE programs like we have at Hage, with Keith Kaneko, who spoke before, and who I might add is not just a perennial student favorite, but also a really important part of our school community. Please reconsider this.
Thank you.
Nikki Sullivan, and I'm speaking against cutting ed tech resource teacher positions to 6, as well as eliminating several other IT employees who ensure that classroom technologies are being effectively utilized by teachers in classrooms and are working properly. I'm asking you to fulfill the promise that you made to the taxpayers of San Diego who invested in education, but whose investment will have been squandered not by providing the appropriate support. Taxpayers voted to spend tens of millions of bond-funded dollars through Prop S and Z to put technology in classrooms. Over 130,000 devices have been distributed district-wide. The work that has been done by EdTech to date is reflective of the priorities of the I-21 Now Committee, the LCAP, and Leadership Vision 2020. Voters prioritized giving all students access to the skills, information, and experiences that technology provides access that all students need in order to be successful in college and compete in 21st century workforce. Technology alone will not transform teaching and learning in the classroom. While teachers and students alike may be familiar with how to operate devices, they appreciate and require support with technology in ways that promote collaborative, creativity, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills. Without these supports, many teachers will struggle to impactfully incorporate into their instruction and may hesitate to use it at all. Please reconsider the deep cuts that are being made to IT in the EdTech department. Give our students and teachers the support they need to maximize instruction and effectively use the technology that has already been purchased.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Toland, and I'm an occupational therapy specialist for San Diego Unified School District. And as an occupational therapy specialist, we do a lot in my job, and I work directly with CODAs, and I just wanted to give you a visual of maybe what we do. We talk to teachers and talk to them about, consult with them about how to provide visual motor activities and stimulation, sensory educational activities. We wear many different hats. We go to meetings with teachers and parents, and we create plans that will help children learn a variety of skills in the special education department. And we've been asked to do that with even smaller and smaller budgets, so our hats get smaller and smaller. And I just want to let you know, we're all in the same boat. And that boat is slowly being cut and torn in pieces. All of us in that boat are sinking. And if you continue to cut and cut away, all we will have left is the shorts on our backs. You need to save the CODAs and rescind these layoffs, please. Thank you.
Okay, Brian Blue, Belen Jacko, Amanda Morris, Peter Johnson, Donis Cornell, Nathaniel Krieger, Joseph Garcinia, Jamie Moody, and Sylvia Gibson.
Hi, my name is Joseph Grzinia, and I'm one of 2 elementary prep teachers at Sherman Elementary, a Title I academic achievement and gold ribbon dual immersion school. We have over 600 students each week who receive 2 hours of enrichment in theater, music, dance, media arts, and technology. You just rolled out a new VAPA strategic plan. Who's going to be there to support it? Who's going to help our students produce our 10 annual December concerts or our 16 different spring musicals? Who's going to help our kids write and edit their scripts? There are going to be no songs to be sung or dances to create and learn. Who's going to tell them that there'll be no expert to help them create videos and submit them to the San Diego County Ivy Awards or California Student Media Festival? We've won 16 awards over the last 6 years. Is our winning streak over? Who's going to produce our award-winning student news, our Teach Students programming and coding? Who's going to run our student council, our school dances, our spirit day, our book fairs, our food drives, our charity fundraisers? These are all run by our 2 elementary prep teachers. So you might think they may be able to survive without prep. I'd like to know who's going to come to our school and tell them that these opportunities will no longer be there.
Good evening, I'm Belen Jacot. I have been an art prep teacher at Sandburg Elementary School for 16 years. For that time, I have advocated and worked at art with dedication and love. My instructional time is valuable. Painstakingly constructing lessons to exceed grade standards for art, something that every child is legally entitled to receive. I am not a frivolous 55-minute respite for my colleagues' instructional day. Art is necessary for the children's creative spirit. At our site, both teachers and parents voted for art prep. This demonstrates their appreciation and validates the parents' acknowledgement of how art prep enriches their lives. It is our parents and our community that we are ultimately serving, is it not? We need to maintain and support what both the school and community wants for the children, not eliminate it. Thank you.
I'm Peter Johnson, Plant Operations Supervisor at La Jolla High School and District Employee of the Custodial Department for over 37 years. When I started in the district, we had 14 custodians, 2 locker room attendants at the high schools cleaning 200,000 square feet daily. Budget cuts year after year since 1980 have reduced my crew to 4 custodians, 1 crew leader, and no locker room attendants. We'll be forced to clean once every 4th day for high schools, or 4 to 5 times a month, from 16 people cleaning to 4. Being on AXA State Board of Directors for the last 3 years, I know that no one in the state has reduced their budgets for custodial to this level. No one. Not Fresno, LA, Shasta, San Ysidro, nobody. Our pest techs constantly battle rats, roaches, mice, and ants. If these custodian layoffs go through, you'll be in charge of the filthiest high schools in the state of California. That's not being dramatic. That's a fact. That's a fact. Do the right things, please, for the kids. 200 kids a day use the high school classrooms for 5 to 6 periods. So in conclusion, please direct staff that the classrooms will be cleaned no less than once every 3 days. Thank you.
Hello, board members. My name is Brian Blue. I have a grandson at Marshall Middle School, and my concern is this. I don't know a lot, but I read in the paper and looked at the budget shortfall. It represents, as my figures calculated, roughly, give or take, 10% of your budget. And what concerns me is how could that happen? I read in the paper that it mostly had to do with retirement funds and medical care. And then I'm thinking, those are funds, those are expenses all other districts have. And those other districts don't have a 10% budget shortfall. And if the financial leadership of a district allows that to happen, then I'm curious about how the educational leadership makes decisions about budget cuts. Thank you.
I'm Nat Krieger. I've been a San Diego computer repair tech for 17 years. I know you've received a lot of input over the last 2 weeks, but I just wanted to remind you, taxpayers have spent over $400 million on technology in the classroom. The 2 groups that most directly support classroom technology, the Computer Repair Shop and the Integrated Classroom Technology Support Team, currently stand to lose a combined 80% of their personnel, going from 24 techs to 5. Since these 2 groups fixed over 11,000 malfunctioning computers and printers last year, the effect on the classroom will be disastrous, especially if combined with proposed cuts to site-based support. While we don't know what the plan is going forward, I'd like to remind the board that pursuant to California Education Code 45103.1, our work cannot be taken away and given to an outside company. Thank you for your time, and please feel free to review the relevant code. Relevant code. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Donis Cornell, Executive Director and President of the Administrators Association of San Diego, the union that represents almost 600 of school district principals, vice principals, central office, certificated managers, and classified managers and supervisors. We can all come up with our own opinions on how the district got itself into this financial mess, and we can all point fingers in different directions. What I do know from my years of experience in this district as a former human resources professional is that cuts like these being proposed will affect students, will affect the classroom, and will seriously impact the morale of all staff who are left behind. From my experience, I know it will take years and years and years for a district like this to recover from such cuts. It is a very sad time for San Diego Unified. When I came to this district in 1980 as a clerk typist 1, I was so proud to work here, so very proud. And everyone around me was proud to work here. And what's very sad to me is I don't see that anymore. I don't hear anyone tell me anymore that they are proud to work for San Diego Unified. That has to change. It's just not okay to work somewhere you're not proud to work anymore. And our members just don't feel that way. And I needed to share that with you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jamie Moody. We are here with the UC San Diego Center for Community Health, and we work with schools to support student health and wellness because schools and districts are challenged to do it on their own. The San Diego Unified School District website notes that physical education teachers are necessary to implement the physical education model content standards for California public schools, which affirms the standing of physical education as an academic content area. These standards were adopted by the California State Board of Education. PE is a formal content area of study that is standards-based and encompasses assessment based on standards and benchmarks. All students in grades K through 2 have the right to receive quality, standards-based physical education taught by qualified PE teachers, which contributes to good health, develops fundamental and advanced motor skills, improves students' self-confidence, and provides opportunities for increased levels of physical fitness that are associated with high academic achievement.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dr. Amanda Morris. I work with the Mental Health Intervention Team. I am here because I am invested in saving the Mental Health Resource Center because of the crucial service and value it brings to the students and families of our district. MHRC brings in over $7 million per year to the district. This allows us to provide critical services to students and families. Please see the MHRC spreadsheet provided to you, which expands on these numbers. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Good evening, board and community at large. My name is Sylvia Gibson. I'm a prep time teacher and Trek Lab I run at my elementary school, south of 8, provides student access to technology, robotics, engineering, and coding, and robot math. This focus allows boys and girls a green light mindset as they enter their new world of jobs in robotics. Computer science experts believe access in every school is the key to skills even the new blue-collar jobs will require. The elementary prep program in general provides enrichment for all genders, all grade levels, every week and all year. This is access. I implore you, please, do not negotiate it away to one subject choice or take choices from school sites. Out of all the choices and voices, I urge you to please consider the elementary prep time program a keeper. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Lance Wren, Jeff Tarleton, Zarek Zamora, Dennis Corbett, Gabriella John, Deidre Kleski, Noemi Aguilar, Katie Anderson, Sabrina Hanlon, Lindsay Peterson, Celeste Barbara Kosaki, Deborah Beaver, and Marianne Hawk. Go ahead, Les.
Hi, my name is Lance Wren. I am the president of OSS CSEA Chapter 724. Mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, sons and daughters, and children will be who is going to pay for the mistakes of our district. Your employees will have to go home and tell their loved ones, I have lost my job. Imagine how hard that will be. Custodians, landscapers, food service workers, computer repair techs, maintenance workers, and every division I represent is being cut. This is not cuts away from the classroom. Please stop the bleeding. No layoffs. Find another way.
Go ahead. If I called your name, please come up. Celeste, you want to come up? Yeah.
I wasn't prepared. Okay. Good evening. My name is Celeste Barbara-Kozaki. I'm the president for the San Diego Unified Council of PTAs. I'm here to remind you on the mission of PTA and the values that has guided us for over 120 years. The mission of PTA is to realize every child's potential by engaging with our community, as well as to encourage all of our stakeholders to be advocates for our children. PTA is guided by the motto, every child, one voice. For over 120 years, PTA has spoken on issues that affect the overall well-being of the whole child and every child. PTA firmly believes that every child should have access to a quality education, and that includes equitable access to public education. PTA at the local, state, and national level has consistently advocated to legislators for increased funding for education, as California still ranks at the bottom of the per pupil funding across the nation, even with the passing of Proposition 55. Lastly, what I can only do is appeal to the school board to encourage you all to go with a transparent, honest, and dialogue with stakeholder groups when you're making decisions that ultimately impacts student learning outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'll go. Hi, I'm Deb Beaver. I'm gonna skip on the niceties and just say that you know, I'm the chief job steward for OTBS. I spent 2.5 years working with labor and legal and HR and finance to assure that OT services were not contracted out. We just got the quota positions approved. The people just got hired. You're going to fire them, all of them laid off, and the OTs are going to have to do that work. We currently have 30 OT positions that are contracted out. Currently, right now today, on February 28th, there are 30 contracted OTs. So I'm shocked that this happened. The only thing I can figure is that there's a new administration in special ed, and maybe they missed it. I don't know. I don't know how you asked for the cuts, because you didn't ask us. Nobody asked us, right? So I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the quotas and the OTs and the contracting out. I'm concerned about all the positions. Those IT positions, I worked 1.5 years to get those redone. I will tell you that the Prop Z funding won't pay for that. I have to worry about that organization, IT, also, because I believe that's new. New staffing, new supervisors that didn't really know what they were cutting.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Dennis Corbett, and I am a student at Miramar Ranch Elementary. I have 2 questions for you tonight. One is, after all these cuts, what are you going to spend your money on next year? 2, why are you taking away the basics of our education? Personally, I've had many great experiences in PE, and we need it to keep us healthy. In January, when it rained, my class was restless and had a hard time learning due to lack of exercise. I would also like to argue to keep our school police. We need a safe learning environment, and if children are scared to go to our schools, that will cause a serious lack of education, which is bad for the education of all the students. Here are letters from my fellow students at Miramar Ranch who stand with me against these cuts.
Good job, Dennis.
Hi, my name is Eric Zamora. I'm a fourth grader at Hage Elementary in Mira Mesa. I am here on behalf of my peers to ask you, please don't cut our PE program. The students look forward to our daily PE, dance fitness, and our wonderful swim program that not every school has. That's why it is so special. Some students depend on our daily PE to remain fit and healthy. We live in the finest city. We need the finest schools. That's why I think we should keep our PE program. Thank you for your time.
Good job.
Good evening, Board, Mrs. Martin. My name is Sabrina Hanlon, Para-President, and please, if you're here for kids, stand up. I want you to look around. Thank you, Mr. McQuarrie, at who stood up. Who's here for kids? Most of my impacts, which are 480 plus positions, are revolving around students. Library techs, library assistants who work in the elementary level, noon duties who take care of our students at lunch, keep them from being bullied, keep them safe. Health techs. I actually had to call a health tech today who was not informed by her supervisor that she was losing her job. She shared with me her husband was laid off in December. She also shared with me she's a 10-year vet. Very sad that we're treating our people this way and treating our students. This little gentleman right here, he is our future. If we aren't there to support him, what will our future look like? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela John, and I'm a parent from Hage Elementary. And the PE program has not been only important but meaningful for my family. When my son started elementary school, we didn't know that he had autistic spectrum disorder. And as many kids with autism, he had very poor coordination and poor balance. It was impossible for him to join any team sport. The other kids used to yell at him, scream at him, and I get it. He was not a good team member, but at school he had a wonderful and supportive PE teacher who also promoted good values, so he was never teased. As you know, at Hage we have a wonderful swim program. By the time he started the program, we noticed a pattern. Some days he was more put together, it was the swimming. He's still not good at team sports, but now he's hooked with swimming. He's a strong swimmer, and he's part of the YMCA swim team. Knowing that we can lose PE definitely hits home. The outcome for my son would have not been the same without his PE teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. You may remember I'm Katie Anderson. I was a past parent and a past co-chair of the GATE DAC, and I'm here with several other past and present parent leaders. We're tag teaming a statement and a demand letter to all of you. I'll be outlining who the signatories are to this statement, and I would like to note that we calculated the people who signed this letter have provided the district with 87 years, parents, 87 years of service to this district, service for children. Signed, Moira Albritton, Chair of the Community Advisory Committee for Special Education, spouse of active duty military. Susie Reed, DAC Chair, PL Clusters, parent and registered voter. Jennifer Tandy, Cluster Congress Chair, Mission Bay Cluster Board. Me, Katie Anderson, past GATE DAC. Lily Higman, Mission Bay Cluster Chair, elect. GATE DAC Second Chair. Tamara Hurley, Cluster Congress Representative, DAC Representative, Calendar Committee Member. Elizabeth Nagy, past past GATE DAC chair, LCAP participant, SSC member, Parent Leadership Council co-founder. Amy Redding, past District Advisory Council chair, member of the LCAP work group.
Okay, thank you, Kate.
Good evening. I'm following suit with Ms. Anderson. The San Diego Unified School Board of Trustees and Superintendent are entirely responsible for the current budget deficit. For more than 3 years, San Diego Unified has operated with budgets that relied upon one-time money, property sales, rainy day fund, etc., to balance the budget. The decision makers took no action to avert this day of reckoning, resulting in a massive debt that will be balanced on the backs of children and classified staff. And too many people. The San Diego Unified School Board of Trustees did not exercise their fiduciary responsibility to represent their constituents. You are working for us and our children. The superintendent position is intended to serve at the direction of the trustees. San Diego Unified has consolidated a lot of power in our superintendent. We as parent leaders in San Diego Unified demand the following. Budget solutions should be made around plans for students, not merely cutting the budget and then seeing how students' needs fit into the district cuts.
I'll speak fast. To continue, the budget must prepare for even less revenue in the May revise due to the following: loss of Title I at the Fed level and possibly other federal cuts that will result in funds going to programs other than education in the state of California. The board must remove top-heavy central office layers of bureaucracy through the lens of student needs and accountability. The FACE department would be one place to cut bureaucracy. Look at other cuts too, for those that don't impact the student at the site level. The board must involve parent leaders, the ones that do not involve the classroom. The board must involve parent leaders in reorganization and expenditure plans. Budget solutions ought not to depend on the centralized control of IEP. Budget solutions must exclude the use of Title I money to fill the general fund deficit. Title I money is not to supplant, but to supplement the needs of students in poverty. Don't balance the budget on the backs of elementary students. The elimination of GATE supports, elementary ed programs provided during teacher prep time, and support services for English language learners is unacceptable. You must include the LCAP, in the LCAP, at least 1 year's worth of growth for each and every student.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Marianne Hawk. I'm the chair of the GATE District Advisory Committee. I'm in the Claremont cluster and the parent of 2 children. I speak for the 25,000 GATE students in the district. We don't want our discoverers, dreamers, and dynamos to become ignored and become shut-down learners. We object to the $400,000 in cuts being proposed that will shut down the GATE office. The GATE program is not budget dust to be blown away. These children will not do fine on their own. They require services beyond those provided in a regular classroom. Gifted education matters. Gifted children matter. Every child deserves a year's worth of growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Alan Bennett, Cesar Garcia, Kim Carpenter, Lori Emerson, Mary Lou Finley, Griselda Durganpudi, Nathaniel Blum, Elizabeth Quinones, Citizen. If I've called your name, go ahead. Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kimberly Carpenter, and I've been teaching for 39 years. The last 11 of them special education here in San Diego. I listened last week when I was here and just simply couldn't stay to speak to your saying that the cuts would not affect special ed students. Either you are ignorant of what happens in a special ed classroom, or you're using what is currently called by the federal administration alternative facts. At At my school, we will be down to 1 mod severe teacher to service 16 children. These are our most severely impaired children with behaviors that require constant supervision. Additionally, we're losing an SET who supports those children. In my mild mod classroom, I'm being urged when writing IEPs to make the IEPs fit the cuts by cutting hours for my students. We said a Pledge of Allegiance this evening, that said, "And justice for all." Where is the justice in these cuts? I know I'm over. I have one more sentence. My kids need time and support to reach their full potential. They are diploma bound, but if we do not provide them the supports they need, they won't get there. Keep the cuts out of the classroom.
Hi, my name is Lori Emerson, and I'm a 35-year veteran in city schools, 26 years as a PE prep time teacher. I teach at Sessions Elementary, which is an international baccalaureate school. I believe teaching a quality PE program at the elementary level are the building blocks for young students' minds and bodies. We all teach students that are based, their curriculum is standards-based, that is aligned with IB tenets and learner profiles, which is, in essence, is our character education program. Everything I do and say is embedded in our IB philosophy and PE standards. I consider myself the hub of the school as I teach every child every week. I am able to track student progress for 6 years, and they learn from me 6 years in a row and from our PE prep teachers. We have expectations that carry into the classrooms and on the playgrounds. Our contract says that I am not allowed to cover classrooms as I do not have a multiple subjects credential. How is that you can expect classroom teachers to teach PE, which is a single subject? Will teachers be able to add state-mandated minutes? I also just want to add that PE continues to be underfunded and under-prioritized, even though it is proven to be integral in our learning. And I've had the privilege to attend our district's equity training. If you take away elementary PE, the equity challenges the district will face will not only impact physical fitness levels, but also the mental health of our children. The two are one.
Thank you.
My name is Mary Lou Finley. I'm 72-year-old SEA at Bell Middle School. First of all, I want to say that we have enough untruths coming out of the current administration. You need to tell the truth to the press and to yourselves that these cuts will affect the classroom and all the students in our schools. And as a survivor of cancer, not once but twice, I want to speak to the child's request. When I was lucky enough, when I was going to school, I had PE throughout elementary school, high school, and college, all the time. You can't do this to our children. That's what's supposed to be our first priority as a school district. Stop making it the last.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't even know.
Just give us your name, please.
Oh, my name? Cesar Garcia.
Thanks, Cesar.
I work at New Dawn High School as a rehab specialist. I'm here on behalf of a lot of people here, my friends, colleagues, coworkers, and most of all, the students. And you guys would have no idea, to put in perspective, what people's lives are like as far as students and the staff. What we do, what we worry about. You know what? I'd rather take that write up for not turning in my paperwork before I neglect that kid. That's the kind of guy I am. But you know what? We got to find a better way. We got to work harder. And you know what? We are going to demand more out of the staff also, you know. But we also got to demand something out of you guys too. And that's a little bit of responsibility about the budget. So if you guys could please help us out with that, help out my friends. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Griselda Durgampudi. I work as a school counselor, and I'm really concerned about the budget cuts. I've recently learned that my position at the site would be reduced from a 1.0 to a 0.9, and that really concerns me because I'm already working long hours. I coordinate with staff to work over the weekends, and even then I see teachers with their trucks, with their crates, taking work home, bringing it back, and there's days when I have really long hours because there's a student who perhaps, shared with me that they're being a victim of child abuse or sexual abuse, or they're contemplating suicide, and that it really impacts my day as much as I try to organize my time. With all of these events that we don't anticipate for, there's just not enough support staff to be out there to help. So I ask you to reconsider those cuts because it is hurting our children. And counselors also are the voice and the ears for all of these children who need us at the schools. Thank you.
Okay, Gustav Swanson, Joanne Fields, Gabriela Contreras Misirilioglu, and Moira Alberton. Any of those? Moira, are you coming up? Yeah, that's all right. And Gabriela. Yeah.
Gabby, you're up.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela Contreras Misirilioglu, San Diego High School Parent Teacher Student Association President. My information is on the record. Good evening, Board Trustees, audience. I am here today to express our deepest concerns about the proposed budget cuts to take place that would directly impact vulnerable students in our school, particularly the youth in transition. The Department of Children and Youth in Transition serves the most vulnerable students, the students who are generating the extra local control funding formula funding that the district receives. This office serves our homeless and foster students, our military and families facing food insecurities. The Children and Youth in Transition office has a staff of 14, but if the cuts are adopted, they will be down to 6. The Youth in Transition at San Diego High School encompasses about 400 students. Some of these students do not have a place to sleep tonight. San Diego High School has its own dedicated project resource teacher. This case manager serves 55 students directly. Thank you, Ms. Abby DeLeon. If her position is removed, these students will experience abandonment. The cuts to Children and Youth in Transition are unacceptable. Please, let's not abandon them. Thank you.
Hi, Maura Albritton. 3 points. Number 1, the needs of students with disabilities pay no attention to your budget or to your staffing allocations. Number 2, I and my committee strenuously oppose the cuts that you are making to special education student contact positions, including but not limited, time to stand up, CODAs, disaster, if you cut them, disaster, SEA, SET, speech-language pathologist, AT positions providing voices to children who don't have voices. We have bus monitors being cut, TRACE. I don't even have the time to list them and still make my third point, which is your LCAP cannot be implemented if you vote to adopt these cuts, which only will reinforce the perception among your stakeholders that it is just a feel-good exercise in lip service.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Fields. Clearly, there is major hard decisions that need to be made, cuts that need to be made, but not on the backs of our students that need the most support. Our special ed students, our homeless students, our youth in transition, all students are important, but especially these students with special needs that bring more money into the district. Look at freezing travel, freezing non-essentials like consultants, freezing other programs that aren't making an impact. We gotta be creative in where the cuts, we know that cuts need to be made, but why cut out race, human relations, and advocacy, the whole department? Why? Why are we creating FACE, Family and Community Engagement Team, when we already have the Ballard Parent Center? I don't understand. please be crystal clear on why we're adding more jobs while eliminating what seems like the same position. We need community service officers. What is the price of our child's safety worth? When you're cutting VPs, you're cutting administrators, and especially in District D where we have interim principals, interim vice principals, and at Morris High School where I chair the cluster, we have the whole administration retiring at the end of this semester, and there is no pipeline or plan just yet. It is important not only for the future, but for the safety today. We just had a lockdown at Morris and Fulton. What is going to happen to our kids, families, and staff? Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Okay, I want to thank everybody who spoke to us tonight. We've got a motion and a second. Any comments?
My name, sir?
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Diane Jones, but I think you said like Josie Jones or something.
I'm sorry, please come up, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, hello, board. My name is Diane Klein Jones, and I've been a district employee since 2001. This is not the first time that I've seen drastic cuts being proposed, only in 2 months later for drastic cuts to be reneged. And, you know, you're really giving a lot of anxiety to staff. A lot of them are anxious over this, including staff in the department I work at currently, which is the Mental Health Resource Center. Not only do we bring in over $7 million to the district to provide to students, severely ill students, I want to encourage you to look at the funding for our clinicians and our professionals in our department, because they're the ones that are out there day in and day out with the students that want to kill someone or kill themselves. They provide groups, they help staff, they work with the nurses, they attend IEPs, they do assessments. Since we got the assessments from the county, we are completing more assessments than the county did, and our numbers are growing. Amanda Morris, Dr. Morris passed out earlier, showing you how our numbers have escalated over the years. They're not decreasing, but yet you're asking us to decrease our staff. You can't put all these kids in a classroom with one therapist and expect a therapist to provide services. And then lastly, I just want to ask, anybody that cares for mental health, I was going to ask you to stand up, but most everybody's already standing. And this is a very passionate subject for me. I have my own student that went through a day treatment program, and had it not been for guys like this, Caesar right here, she would have killed herself more than once. But now she's graduated and is in college. This is what you guys need to hear. You know, so I know you're going to approve the budget because that's already been presented, but I just want to encourage each one of you board members to take a look at the different departments that are slashing their budget and look at the actual positions and what those people are doing to provide these direct services to our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any board member comments? Mr. Evans, Dr. Evans.
Yes. Well, first I want to say I'm talking to my fellow board members that I certainly disagree that we should be in this position of having to make this level of cuts. I also agree with the superintendent's proposal or her whole strategy in terms of starting at the top. Unfortunately, the level of cuts is so great that it certainly goes down below the top. But the reality is that we are required to balance the budget. and we have a deficit of $124 million. And all of us on the board have very closely asked the questions about the validity of this particular deficit. And we have scrubbed the numbers. It's been presented to other groups to look at and to determine that this is a very real number. It's not a conservative number. It's not an optimistic number. It's a very realistic number. I remember the first year when I was on the board, one of the ideas that a couple of us had was and we were at this point and we were asked to make unreasonable cuts. There was inadequate funding, and we wanted to basically protest with a vote of conscience and say, we are not going to vote to approve this. We then faced reality, which was if we were to do that and not present our balanced budget to the county, that immediately our accounts would be frozen, the county would have control over our budget, and it would, after that, be turned over to a state receiver. So here is our choice. We can locally vote to approve these cuts, or we can turn the decisions over to the state. Some people say, did we see this coming? And a couple of years ago, when we saw some additional money coming in from the local control funding formula, we did a calculation, and we encouraged other districts across the state to do it, which was we calculated that we needed $350 million additional to meet the basic needs of our district. Now, that hasn't happened at the state level. So again, the fact is, we have this hard choice. We can make a decision to balance our budget, or we can turn it over to other outside authorities.
Okay. All right, Dr. McQuarrie.
Yeah, these are hard times, and we have a difficult decision to make, and that's why we are elected, and that's why we are here. Oftentimes, we're able to be in our communities, in our schools, and celebrate and cut ribbons and meet and speak with students, as we all frequently do. Other times we have to make choices, and those choices are based on matching harm against benefit. And we keep and we have a Vision 2020, which was been approved in 2012, I think it was, 2010. And we hope to, and we want to achieve that vision by 2020. And everything we do on this board and every decision that we've made and will continue to make will be to implement and move us forward towards that vision. So I'd like to, this afternoon was a gorgeous day. When I was a kid coming home from high school, I'd walk a mile from school to get home. And I'd arrive at home, and it'd be a sunny afternoon, and I'd lie down on the floor, and I'd feel the sun rays on my back, and I felt good. I bring that up tonight because this is not a good feeling. This is not a place where I'd want to be, and it's not a place that I wish that we weren't here. But the truth is, we are. And being here, we have to make the hard decision. And that decision is to make a decision that we are in control of, that would be in the benefit of kids, or to hand a decision over to a person who would be appointed to make decisions based only on numbers, and it would not be about kids. As I looked at the decision tonight, I asked our superintendent and I asked administration to keep in mind the mission of what our goal was, our objectives that are presented in our 2020 plan in the LCAP. I wanted the adjustments and changes that we make to move us closer to where we need to be in order for us to achieve our goals. I wanted recommendations to be supported by a rationale that included an assessment of the benefits versus the harm, the financial and the human impact, the broad-based process that includes the affected stakeholders and having people involved in the decision. We needed to examine the intended and unintended consequences. We needed a plan for implementing the decision that we make tonight so that it mitigates the harm, will maximize the benefit, strengthen individual and our systemic relationships so that we can continue to develop the capacity to create quality schools in San Diego, which is our goal. The frame of reference that I had evolved around five questions that I needed to answer, and I would frame my decision for tonight. One was there needed to be a solid rationale for making these changes. There needed to be a process that allowed for truth to be identified, the fairness to be emphasized, for understanding to be developed, and that would lead to a decision that would be as beneficial as possible for all concerned. We needed to involve the people who are going to be affected by the change in helping us to gather information that would support the justification for the change. We needed support and continue to provide support that will implement the change and that will move us forward. So in general, the question I asked and needed answered was how and to what degree do our recommended changes tonight support the mission, the goals, and the objectives as described in our district's Vision 2020 and will be and are outlined in our local control accountability plan. The comments that we heard tonight were many, and the impact are intense. The cuts are massive, and the impact will be could be extremely devastating. There is, and I think that is where we are. We are looking at how can we provide the services necessary that will continue to build a quality program as we work together to solve the big problems of this district. And I think it is working together to do that. I think looking forward, we can work together to find solutions and to implement a package. And as I noticed that we didn't see the chart tonight, but we saw it at the last meeting, it's a smaller pie. But what I recognize in the smaller pie is that it's the same ratio of services that were presented in the larger pie. So we do need to get smaller. This is an effort to become smaller, and it's an effort to be smaller smartly, an effort to become smaller in a wise way, an effort to be smaller so that we can continue to provide quality services, maybe not in the same way, but they will be there to support a quality program that allow us to meet the law, allow us to provide quality, and will allow us to move forward and to achieve our Vision 2020.
Okay. Thank you. We're good.
Be elected, you guys. Remember that.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and just try to allow everybody the opportunity to share their thoughts before we vote. Okay. Okay, start my time. First of all, we have to remember why are we even here having this conversation. The reason is because Governor Brown, in January, per California state law, issued his budget proposal. The LAO projections for Prop 98 funding showed and still shows an increase in revenue. However, Governor Brown is holding back Prop 98 monies, allocating the bare minimum allowed by law. However, we know Prop 98 is not a ceiling, it is a floor. Now, why did Governor Brown, in his January budget proposal, hold back those resources? For a couple of reasons. He articulated first, he predicts that we are we're on the precipice of a recession. Two, he's holding back in the event that the federal government and the 45th president's budget proposals in the Department of Education out of that Secretary of Education's office will reduce and cut back Title I funds, Title IX funds, and other federal dollars to public education. That's why we're here right now. The other thing that we have to realize and remember is that the state of California is ranked number 47th in the country in funding public education per pupil. That's another reason we're here tonight having this conversation. So given that, excuse me, hold on, please be civil and respectful. We allowed you the opportunity to share your concerns, and now I think it's very important that we have a very professional conversation and dialogue about where we are tonight. The second thing that I'd like to point out is that I am very, very pleased that we have been able to reach a memorandum of understanding with the San Diego Education Association, our teachers. And we are in negotiation and working to try to reach MOUs with all of our bargaining units for SERPs. This is an early retirement incentive. This is important because the more folks that take advantage of this opportunity and retire, the less layoffs we will have. In addition, early retirement incentives will save the school district millions of dollars, as other educators newly embarking upon their career will be able to continue to work in our classrooms and our schools and serve our children. Third, we all know the reality. We, as trustees on the Board of Education, have a fiduciary responsibility to balance the budget just like we've done every year. Now, we have asked the superintendent to try to do everything she can to balance the budget and minimize impacts. There's no way you can cut $124 million out of a school district and not have impacts on children. That's a fact. However, this package does a couple of things that I think are important and we have to acknowledge and recognize. First of all, it maintains our class size caps at 24-to-1 in elementary school, 35-to-1 in middle school, and 36-to-1 in high schools. That is a phenomenal accomplishment given the fact that we have to reduce about 10% of our budget. Second, it still continues to fund a very strong commitment to music and the arts. Secondary schools, almost every secondary school will maintain their current allocation for music programs in the schools next year. Second, music allocations in 49 elementary schools will continue to be robust and support the strategic arts plan that this board approved earlier this year. That means 100% of 4th and 5th graders will have band, orchestra, and music. There are other programs that the school district will be supporting. We're going to be allocating over $1 billion to help continue the academic performance of our children. And I believe that while this package has many things that we don't agree on as educators, I think that this is a very good budget proposal given our financial situation. Now, there was a gentleman that spoke earlier that said, well, why is San Diego Unified having this challenge? We're not the only ones in the state of California. These challenges are occurring in school districts up and down the state of California. I have heard next year's LA Unified will not be facing a 10% cut, but will be facing a 17% cut. Out of a $6 billion operating budget, LA Unified is going to have to cut $1 billion next year. Now, there's other folks that believe that it is time to use our rainy day funds in Sacramento. And just to refer back to Governor Brown's budget, right now I believe it's about a $6 billion fund, and that will grow to over $11 billion in the rainy day fund in Sacramento. Some people believe that the governor ought to use those rainy day funds to mitigate the impacts on public education up and down the state of California. We'll find out. The May revision will be coming out soon, and then also there will be opportunities for Governor Brown to assess the actions of the federal government and then decide whether or not to allocate some of those rainy day funds this year or next year. Finally, I think that it's very important that we as educators do everything that we can to stick together. We have got to make sure that California does not continue to be the bottom in the United States of America in funding per pupil. That is absurd, and honestly, it's a violation of the California State Constitution, which says, and I've mentioned this before in the past, the California State Constitution provides every child a constitutional right to a free and public education. And in that provision, calls on Sacramento and the governor to allocate education funding such that the state of California's funding per pupil will be in the top 10 in the United States of America. And so what has Sacramento done? They've fallen back on that constitutional provision and said that as long as we're meeting Prop 98 minimum education fundings, that the budget's constitutional and legal. And I disagree with that. And I know a lot of you in this room do as well. A lot of parents and teachers and educators and classified staff know that we have got to make sure that in the state of California, we are not at the bottom because we know our children deserve to be at the top. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues for your comments and remarks, and to let everyone here know that, unlike probably anyone else on this dais, I have experienced the pain of layoffs. In 1972, I was a part of the first group of teachers in the state of California that was laid off. The very first time we laid off teachers in the state of California, I was in that group of less than 100 teachers. I left San Diego and went back to school to Duke University that summer. And while I was back there, Dr. George Flanagan sent me a contract and said, "You're rehired," because I was ready to move on with my life elsewhere. And I came back, and again, I got a second notice 4 or 5 years later. And I will have you to know that I finished 31 years of service in this district. It's unfortunate that our system is set up that we have to give out notices in March, because it does devastate you. I can remember coming to this auditorium and speaking to the board, just as you have tonight, and talking about, why are you doing this? And not really understanding it. I was from out of town. And yet I was able to come back to this district and provide service to the children of this district. So I do understand that side of it. I was a classroom teacher in this district, was out on the first picket line in this district, so I know about that side of it too. I spent 17 years in HR, going through the layoff just before I retired, so I know about that side too. The agony, the pain of looking at all of the names and seniority dates. And now I find myself on this board. And one of my responsibilities is to ensure that this system will maintain itself. And for whatever reason, and I've spoken to the superintendent and to the board about the fact that we must do something about it so that we don't find ourselves here every year. This is unacceptable. And we need to look out and find out, where do we have waste? And there's been waste. We need to find out where it is, stop it, and correct this system. And after then, we need to move forward. But we must balance this budget. And as such, I want you to know that I cannot, in all good consciousness, vote no on this, because we must balance this budget. Does that say that you're going out the door? Not necessarily. But as long as the state of California has what they call the education code, which says that we must notify you by March 15th, then we must do that. My hope, my prayer, is that we will be able to bring folks back before the school year is over. But we must follow the law and at least ensure that we have a balanced budget so that San Diego is on the right path. That's my commitment to you as the taxpayers. Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank my board colleagues for your comments. I'm going to stay within my minute. We are, we're all angry and frustrated and disappointed and feeling a variety of emotions tonight, but we have been through this before, and we will get through this again, and we will continue to provide for our kids everything that we can, and our kids will continue to thrive despite all of the challenges that people have spoken about tonight and that board members have spoken about tonight, despite the fact that, frankly, as a generation, we have not done our part to invest in our kids. But as educators, you do your part every day, and we're going to get through this, and our kids are going to be okay. And so I'm going to sit with our anger and frustration and disappointment tonight, and tomorrow we're going to get back to work. Thank you. Please vote.
Raise your salary. Do the right thing.
Okay. We're going to move on to item H2, which is a resolution of intent to consider our joint occupancy proposals at Revere Center. Do we have a motion?
So moved, item H2.
Do we have a second? And we have one speaker, Tamara Hurley. Yeah, here comes Tamara. You have 3 minutes, Tamara.
Oh, wow. I don't need 3 minutes. I figured I was down here and I noticed this on your agenda and thought I'd speak to it. I'm concerned that we haven't learned anything from our last experience with joint use, which you are quite familiar with, the Monarch development proposed in our facility, in our community at the current site of Innovations Academy. I don't know what's at the Revere Center. I'm hearing that it's district offices. But what concerns me most is your timeline. Look at your timeline. You're doing exactly what you did last time. A small little window of input from the community, and then you never go back. You never go back to CEQA. You never talk to the community about what you're developing. You don't talk to them you don't involve your stakeholders in what's going to be put at that school site. You're going to have exactly the same problems you have now. That timeline needs to include stakeholder outreach during the process that you work with whoever does an RFP on the site. So that's really all I had to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board members? If not, please vote. Okay. Thank you, and we are adjourned.
If I could indulge my fellow board trustees and President Barrera, I would really appreciate the opportunity to adjourn the meeting this evening in the memory of Jackie Polk, a longtime educator who just recently passed away, who dedicated her life to the children of San Diego Unified School District. Thank you. So I believe that is a motion to adjourn in the memory of Jackie Polk.
Second.
All in favor, please vote. Thank you.
Nice. Okay.